God consciousness is the highest level of consciousness you can reach, and that's where you want to go. That's the final goal of your spiritual development here on earth. Now, in order to do that, in order to reach that level, you need to go through spiritual transformation. And there's a big difference between transformation and change. Change is just taking things and putting them in new order. That's already change. Transformation is a bit different. It's creating something completely new. For example, if I were to take ice, which is solid, and if I were to heat it up, then after a while I will get water. I will get new properties, for example wetness, that didn't exist before. It's something completely new. It's a quantum leap between the new stage and the old stage. In a similar fashion, you need to go through spiritual transformation, which means that there needs to be some sort of emergence of new properties. Some new properties need to show up, and if they do show up, then you know that you've reached God consciousness. So I want to go through those new properties that you will reach if you reach that level of God consciousness. The first property is clarity of awareness. It basically means being aware to yourself all the time, in waking, in sleeping, in dreaming, all the time. Instead of just being overshadowed by externals, your awareness is always open to itself. Clarity feels total alert and carefree. Another property is knowingness. This means being in touch with the level of the mind in every question is answered. Basically, it is related to genius. We are not talking about music or mathematics or a specific subject. We are talking about the area of knowledge of life itself, the movement of consciousness in every level. Knowingness feels wise, confident, unshakable, and yet humble. Another property is reverence for life. This means being in touch with the life force. You feel the same power flowing through you as through every living thing. Even the dust in the beam of light dances to the same rhythm of the life force. Therefore, life isn't limited to plants and animals. It's everything. Everything possesses this glowing animated vitality, and reverence for life feels warm, connected, and exhilarating. Another property is absence of violence. This means being in harmony with every action. There is no opposition between what you do and what everybody else does. Your desires do not clash with another person's well-being. When you look around and see conflict in the world, but not in your world, you emanate peace like a force field that subdues conflict in your surroundings. Non-violence feels peaceful, still, and completely without resistance. Another property is fearlessness. This means total security. Fear is something of the past. You should remove all fear from your life. It reminds us of the moment when we left a place of belonging and found ourselves in a place of vulnerability. The Bhagavad Gita says that fear is born of separation, implying that the original cause of fear was the loss of unity. Ultimately, that separation is not a fall from grace, but a loss of who you really are. To be fearless feels like yourself. Another property is wholeness. Wholeness means including everything, leaving nothing out. At present, we each experience life sliced up into bits of time, bits of experience, and bits of activity. We cling to our limited sense of self to protect the slices to our limited sense of self from falling apart. But it's impossible to find continuity in this way. Hard as the ego tries, it struggles to make life hang together. Wholeness is a state beyond personality. It emerges when the I am, as it applies to you, is the same as the I am of everywhere. Allness feels solid, eternal, without beginning or an end. Alright, so that's basically the properties that will emerge once you reach the God consciousness. And you will notice something interesting about those properties. Like any transformation, you can't just add things that you already possess. You can't get more fearlessness. You can't get more wholeness and gradually reach a level of wholeness. It doesn't work that way. All these properties will just emerge once you reach God consciousness, and that's transformation.